fucking friend.
Yeah, it says I hit live, so we should be live.
God.
I'll check. I can check on my other phone real quick.
Bubba Cashel, brother. You got a long day today, up?
Yeah, I'm still waiting on one more truck, man.
Yeah.
All right, hold on 1 second. Put it. Yeah, we good.
Cool. You want to open up, corrupt?
Uh-huh. Yeah, we good.
You want to open up, corrupt?
All right. I got you. All right. Shalom. This is GMS Virginia. And pretty much it's going to run a live session, a live class, whatnot. And first and foremost, I want to give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, I want to give double honor to our apostle, GMS, that rule of well. And I want to say peace, blessings, salutations to the hopefully elect, and Lord's will you be edified. And pretty much we're just going to go over, Lord's will, this won't be long, but pretty much just want to go over the topic that how Esau over the years always used code names and justifiable names to persecute the Israelites. And it's not how you say it, it's not what is it? It shouldn't be a surprise to you now. They're using code names now to even persecute our people, because it seems like everything that these Edomites are doing is coming back to pretty much haunt Jake. And the fact that Esau has set up all the basically the accuse of our brethren, and the brother can hold that. Esau has set up all these snares and traps that our people could fall into just so they can justify themselves on acting out on how they're about to act. And we ultimately know due to the 2/3, that's their judgment. But overall, this is Esau's hand is not clean. So brother can bring out the scriptures they have.
Yeah, actually, brother, I had the word before we get that precept of accuse of the brethren. I had that word pulled up in the etymon because it's actually interesting when you go into it. Now, the word accuse in the etymon, it says one who accuses or blames, especially person whom formally accuses another of an offense before a magistrate. Now, when you go into that word magistrate, it's a magistrate is someone who enforces the law, lays down the law, lays down a certain judgment. So when Esau is accusing Jacob, he's basically whether it be falsely accused, justified a justified accusation, regardless, he's trying to bring you onto the gates of the nobles to be judged according under his law, really under his corrupt law.
Yeah.
Because this lesson, this class is about the demonization and accusing that he puts on Jacob, but he knows that we're under his system of Edomite supremacy, and that's the thing, right? You got this guy Charlie Kirk. He got his head popped last week, and a lot of the things that he was talking about was how you so-called Negroes and Hispanics, y'all are the problem with crime and gang violence, which statistics disprove that. But point being, they always discard the system of Edomite supremacy. Real quick, I was listening to a debate he had, and he would go around colleges and debate college students. And it was this 18-year-old Jake that he was, he tried to act like he's a know-it-all, but really he don't know shit. And he was bringing up, well, why ain't no single fathers in the black household? I mean, why aren't there fathers and families in the black households? And he was, and the 18-year-old was like, well, we went through slavery and all this. He's like, there's no excuse. During the civil rights era, y'all were better off. With segregation, y'all were better off. And then y'all became worse. Well, the 18-year-old said, well, what about Tulsa, Oklahoma? And then when he said that, Charlie completely railroaded the whole conversation. Because they don't want to deal with the fact that we are under a system of Edomite supremacy that suppresses us. And when they accuse us, they bring us to their laws and they judge us under their laws. But you got to look them up.
Yeah, this Revelation 12:9. It says, and that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
And we got to go into that word dragon because it's very synonymous with, like you just said, the serpent, right? So when you go back to the book of Genesis and you go to the garden, well, the serpent was clearly the same spirit that ended up in Cain, which further ended up in Esau. All right, that's why when you look at the Roman Empire as that beast is likened to what? A great red dragon, right?
Yep.
Right, which is revised today as the European Union, NATO, the military of NATO. All right, America rides that great red dragon, which is really that old serpent. All right, because when you look at the power structures that control the dragon, it's Edomite. It's Edomite power structures, whether it be France, whether it be Spain, whether it be Belgium, whether it be Germany. All right, whether it be all these nations from the bottomless pit of Europe that are controlled by Edomite royal families. Man, I was looking up something today. Um, we know about UMG, right? Universal Music Group, and you got this guy Lucian Grange who's in charge of it. But he's not even the top guy. He's the CEO of and he's an Amalekite, but he's the CEO of UMG. But over him, when you click on Wikipedia and you look at the UMG shareholders, you have ancient Edomite families that go back to Spain and Italy that are the main shareholders within these record companies. I looked up, it's the Bolero family, and I believe they go back to Spain, and they're one of the main shareholders in the UMG. So Lucian
Mm,
Grange answers to one of the ancient Edomite families.
mm,
All this goes back to an Edomite supremacist system that we're all under, man.
mm. You want me to continue on, brothers?
Babakashaw.
Uh. So it says, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Yeah, because that deceiving is a key point there. Because when you're falsely accusing someone, when you bring a false accusation, which that's a sin in our law, all right, a false accusation. When you bring a false accusation against someone, you're trying to deceive other people that this person is guilty of that crime or guilty of that act. And that's what Esau has done on a mass scale throughout the world. He has demonized Jacob to the world. All right. People will see us in sports and music and entertainment and say, oh, these guys are talented. And then Esau will use his media to deceive the people and say they're nothing but thugs, they're nothing but drug addicts, they're nothing but irrational beings that can't think for themselves. What's one of their famous things to say? Low IQ.
Right.
Well, who created the IQ test? Under what standards and what rules are you dictating someone has a low IQ? Because when we go back to the IQ test, it was created by I forgot his name, but it was created by Edomite. All right. So that's false accusations you're bringing on people, and you like the brother started off by saying the demonization, which I want to get that word in Edamon too after you finish this scripture, brother, because that word is very key too. Lokamar. Well, while that brother is paused right now, I want to get demonization in the Edamon, right? Now when you get
I
this,
got
oh,
so
go
like I
ahead,
got
brother.
a lot of I just letting you know I got a lot of stuff pulled up. So when brothers is ready, just let me know. It's a lot of names and code names that was I'm gonna bring out that Esau gave to our people to basically justify them again, enslaving us, and as long as we're working, being good boys and coons, and we don't go against the system or speak out, we would tolerate it. But once we get out of that line, oh yeah, that's when we become a problem.
Yep.
You got it.
Go ahead, Lokamar. Finish that off, brother. Oh, I think he muted, brother. No, you muted. Yeah, you gotta come back in. But let me get this word demonization in the
Mhm.
Edamon online, because it actually ties into idolatry, right? Accusing you of being a pagan worshiper. So when you go into demonize, it means to make into a demon or to be under the power of a tutelary deity, to be possessed
Mm.
by a demon. So when they bring demonization on you, which I'm gonna bring these scriptures out after we go through what you want us to go through, Karal. But when to bring demonization on somebody is to actually accuse them of being a demon, being adverse to what's right. They called our Lord, which I'll go into it later. They called our Lord a demon. They said he would. They demonized our Lord by literally claiming that he was working under the power of Beelzebub. All right. So what Esau tries to do is that's why the accuser of the brethren is so key. He puts snares and traps in place of Jacob for Jacob to fall into, and then accuses Jacob amongst the world, right? And says they're the problem, they're the demons, they're on the wickedness, like the crack epidemic, right? When you look at the crack epidemic, I'm saying that word right, right?
Yep.
Okay. When you look at that era of crack being thrown in the inner cities and the ghettos, you got to ask yourself, how in the hell did crack get into these poor areas? Who came up with the chemical procedure in the ghettos to know how to cook this thing up, right? To boil this rock, right? Who was shipping in all these drugs from these countries, flying these drugs in on these planes? So they'll paint in their media that all people are drug addicts and thugs and gangsters, but meanwhile it's a whole conglomerate, it's a whole business, it's a whole organization throughout the world that's supplying the destruction to our people.
Can I can I can I bring this out?
You got it, brother.
So I said, I asked ChatGPT, how did black Americans be deemed as criminals in America? And it kind of goes, it goes in. I'm gonna read the whole thing. It said Black Americans have been historically criminalized in the United States through a long, complex, and deliberate series of political, legal, social, and economic strategies. This criminalization is deeply rooted in the history of slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow laws, and modern mass incarceration. Is a breakdown of the key factors. And whenever brothers want to speak, they can speak. And this is one:
Yeah,
slavery and the birth of.
when you
Yeah,
look at you look at mass incarceration, who predominantly resides in these prison systems, right? Can I get the?
and
I want to get the precept to back that up real quick.
I know you're going. I was going to tell you. Yep, yep.
Yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22. It says, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes,
Yep.
and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth." Now, like I said earlier, Esau lays traps for Jake to fall into. Well, that's what a prey. That's how you become prey. You fall into the snares and the traps of the predator. All right. A serpent is very, very patient and tactical in how they pursue their prey. They don't just run at you and lunge at you. They wait for the correct moment. They may be in a hole, or they may be in a hole somewhere, and just waiting for that one moment to strike perfectly, man. And they
Mm-hmm.
they lay these snares and traps for Jake to fall into, and Jake just falls right into them, man. And then when you break your leg, he says, "Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault."
Yep.
Right? Oh, slavery was hundreds of years ago. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's your fault you're in the predicament you're in today. Everybody's equal. But wait a minute, what about all the hundreds of years of Edomite supremacy that set up all these organizations, the industrial industry, the agriculture industry, the military complex? How can you just negate all that when we're still under all these things?
If I may,
Of
that's
course.
the guy Charlie Kirk that he was speaking on that because I seen that lesson that video he put up against the young Jake. But that's what he was basically trying to say. How the issues got it out they bootstrap. They had struggle because of the H word, and now they run it. He admitted that the issues run everything. Then he wanted to speak about the Asian people, how they were under sufferings and came up out of it, and they're doing well. So, and what is our excuse, basically, you know? So, and it's no secret that we've been under the most persecution even to this day, but they want to overlook the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American.
Yeah,
they want
yeah.
to.
Oh, salute, brother.
I was going to say, yeah, they basically want everything to start at from basically 1980s, from the crack epidemic, and then the civil rights, because that was pretty much really the last. What's to say before the segregation and integrating our people? That was our last stronghold. And that's when we pretty much stopped caring about our own as being segregated and being sovereign. That was our last stronghold. So this basically the world wants us and the other people of the world to really believe that we just some niggas that just came out in the 1960s and bam,
Right. And we
fresh
some monsters.
start. Yeah.
Like when monsters you just can't get right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we just some niggas, degenerate niggas that just can't get right. And it's crazy because I got a whole list of segments. It wasn't too long ago. So I'm gonna read it. So it said
Can I bring this out real quick, brother? Before y'all move on, just before y'all move on, because Lockermouth made a point about the guy talking about how Asians witnessed slavery and other nations witnessed slavery. But real quick, what we went through is a different kind of slavery. It never happened before. So this is a quick breakdown of chattel slavery, right? It says chattel slavery is a specific racialized form of slavery where people are treated as permanent hereditary property like livestock or other personal possessions and stripped of all rights, which was the basis of the U.S. system. Read that again. Which was the basis of the U.S. system. You know what the basis is? Foundation. It says slavery is a broad general term. So you can apply, it's broad, it's a broad term. You can apply it to other nations on the earth, but it ain't chattel slavery. It says slavery is a broad general term for forced servitude, but not all slavery involves the complete commodification and hereditary bondage. Hereditary means to be passed down from generation to generation, and hereditary bondage characteristic of chattel slavery, which was unique in its racial basis and permanent inheritable status of enslaved individuals. So the slavery we went through was unique. It was hereditary because it's been passed on from generation to generation, and you were stripped of everything. Language. And you got it, brother. Go ahead.
And I was reading about it yesterday. Even our people were even inherited. So if that person, your master died, you were inherited by his son. So you transfer. And when what do you call it? You had they talk about Asians and other nations. Well, they got their own country. They had their own language. What does so-called Hispanics and Latinos and Native Americans and blacks have? Nothing. Nothing to prove. Nothing. No ownership. They don't even have their own military. They're not sovereign. So when you go back to these countries where Jake dwell, even amongst Mexico and South America, look at the names. Who's running over them? We all know Esau has a puppet government that's over there. So I'm going to read this list. So it says 1, slavery and the birth of racial criminalization. So it says slave code, 1600s to the 1800s. These laws criminalize behaviors of enslaved black people, such as learning to read. So they didn't even want you to know how to read. They wanted you to be dumb. It says gathering in groups. So they didn't even want you coming together. They wanted you niggas isolated.
That sounds like the C19 event.
Hey, there you go. Hey, 2.0.
Yeah.
It says, or moving without a pass. So come on, man. Hey, I know we all done went through that because prior to even Esau making a mandatory, you having an ID. I remember me growing up as a kid, that was kind of like a push because Esau was kind of getting on you for not having that, man.
Yeah.
I never forget them days, man. You know, you got
Well,
look, or you get out, huh?
No, let me lean back. Nowadays, if you don't have that real ID, it's a lot of places you can't go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You can't even fly domestically without
Yeah,
that.
like say you want to go on one of the now where we live is a lot of military bases. So say you need to get on something. If you don't got that real ID, they won't let you on it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Now,
where's your insurance papers, nigga, for this vehicle?
Right. Right.
so it says post-emancipation 1865 plus. After slavery was abolished, so-called, many southern states passed black codes to restrict the freedom of newly freed black people and force them into labor. It says too,
Wait a minute. So this is after plantation slavery?
Yeah.
I thought Abraham Lincoln freed us.
Yeah, I thought so too. That's what I was told. That's what I was taught in the American educational full system.
Yeah, the great white savior.
Oh yeah. I forgot. They damn sure promoted that nigga as a savior.
What? Man, they got a memorial to this nigga. Washington, D.C. Got him on back of the penny. The bronze penny.
Yep.
Keep that in mind. He's on back of the bronze penny. That's for you niggas. Yeah, look at your master.
It says too, the 13th Amendment and legal slavery. It says the 13th Amendment, 1865, abolished slavery except as punishment for crime. Now, see, this is where you got to start tuning in because Esau always try to catch us in crime, put that paperwork on us, or try to catch us in ways that we lack. Like, for instance, right? What's one way that Esau does today? He constantly let's go back to the 1970s. He brought in that black exploitation. He demonized us. And then what did he eventually do? He brought welfare to our women. And then what eventually did he do? He took away jobs. So so-called blacks couldn't provide. Men couldn't provide for their families. So what came along with it? Drugs, cocaine, gambling, etc. And that's how Esau was able from the 1980s to criminalize us as a people, gang activity, going to the 1990s, gangster rap. Let's not forget about the rap, and then then a constant perpetuation of real criminals.
Yep.
So continuing on. So it says this loophole was exploited. States began convicting black people of minor offenses. Here it is: vagrancy, loitering, to re-enslave them through convict leasing.
What's vagrancy? Vagrancy. Let me get that word real quick, brother.
Come.
Real quick. The definition of vagrancy. Bear me one moment. The definition of vagrancy is the state of living without a settled home or regular work. God damn.
So that goes back
for not having a home.
Hey, so that basically go back to the slave codes. So it says these laws criminalize behaviors of enslaved black people. I'm gonna go to the last one, moving without a pass. So if you didn't have a pass or your papers, you got convicted for being a criminal, and you had to go back into work.
Think about how wicked that is, because here it is, we just left the plantation, master house, but you gonna criminalize us because we don't have a home. That's wild.
Who you belong to, boy? Where your papers at, boy?
Slovakia. Now, what I don't know if y'all read about it. I had walked off. What were we promised after slavery?
48 acres and a mule.
Yep.
And they reneged on it. And then want to lock you up because you ain't got no place to go.
That's crazy, man. That's wild, man.
They never gave us no land. They never gave us anything.
Nope.
And even when Jake fought for the war, we came back to America and was called, criminals.
Yep.
Esau was afraid of the skill that Jacob obtained. They were scared that the so-called blacks would turn that gun on them, so they demonized them.
Yep.
Right.
So
I got a quick precept, brother.
Yep.
This is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness. That's grievousness, man. That nigga
Yep.
wrote. And that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that the widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
Mm. Yeah, brother can hold Psalm 64 and Ezekiel 35 as well.
You said Psalm 64?
Yep, all the way from the top, all the way through, in Ezekiel 35. I'm gonna continue on. So it says, the 13th Amendment abolished slavery except as punishment for a crime. This loophole was exploited. States began convicting black people of minor offenses, vagrancy, loitering, to re-enslave them through convict leasing, where prisoners were forced to work in plantations, railroads, and factories. That's the same prison system today.
Mm-hmm.
So 3, Jim Crow era, 1877. What's the big number? 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought it was so long ago. I thought, they wasn't there. And I like I tell everybody, I've seen my great grandparents, and they were born way past the 50s. And I know an uncle of mine, one of my, my great uncles. He's still living to this day, and he was telling me how bad it was in the 1950s.
Mm.
So, segregation laws enforce racial hierarchies and criminalize black existence in public spaces. So this is the bill. See, it's not a coincidence. Black fatigue, black gangs, black this, black thugs. They're hiring mayors, so-called black mayors, to be in these cities, because we all know how Esau likes to throw that money around, and then Esau is able to roll in and justify their doing. See, because you black people, the mayors, y'all are causing this crime. But we all understand, when you go to these places where Esau, Slaki with Jake and these Jake mayors, Memphis, Chicago, DC, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at those places, it's always surrounded by water. Don't you have, it's not a coincidence. Them big cities where there's a lot of water, there's always a bunch of drugs and corruption. I wonder why that is. And the train port system. So Jake is getting these guns. There's no gun stores in hoods. So where's the guns coming from? There's no plane. There's no airports in the ghetto. So where's the drugs coming from? Where has and again, for Charlie Clips to be talking the way he did, it don't look like he came from that environment. So a lot of
Charlie Clips.
Charlie Clips. So it's funny that a lot of people outside those areas got a million words to say. You've never been out there. You don't know what's going on out there. And again, a lot of these people, Myron Gaines, etc., they basically want to skip the fact of the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, and like I'm about to read, the Jim Crow era. So I'm going to go in.
Hey, you see what Myron Buddies told him? Myron, you can't go out no more, bro.
He's a scaredy cat.
Yeah,
and overall, man, the red pill niggas, they just don't got it. And overall, that's how you know the thing that we're doing is of Yahweh Shah.
Yeah.
Because, if anybody was supposed to be getting taken out, it was supposed to be us.
Facts.
But continuing on. So it says second, matter of fact, no. I'm the next one. Lynchings and racial terror were often justified by So damn, so it says black people were disproportionately targeted and punished under biased legal systems. Lynchings and racial terror were often justified by falsely accusing black men of crimes,
Oh, the
especially
accuser.
hey, whoa, especially against white women.
Woo.
What did Esau just try to play? That crazy Jake on that train with the
Yep.
dreads and a sweet old white woman.
Yep.
And
Yep.
when you look at the video, it was false. And how the
Yep.
hell, what happened to Charlie Eclipse? We got something to do with it. That's the buildup. And it's like you just had that Jake hanging from what? The Delta University. You just had Hampton University shut down. You just had VSU University shut down. Why? Hey, because it's that tension is growing up.
Yep.
Black fatigue. So
Yeah,
it
when
says
Charlie
four.
Clips, the day Charlie Clips got popped, they wanted to find. They were wishing that it was Jake that did it so bad that they found a
Yeah,
clip of
man.
a Jake stealing
Man.
Make America Great hats off the table, and he's like, look, niggas is stealing. Charlie just died, and this nigga is stealing hats. Meanwhile, it was other Edomites asking him to give them the hats, but they just wanted to
Yeah.
find a nigga for something, you know. They hate Jake with that enmity, man.
Yeah, that's right. And they don't even know why they do. But
Nope.
they don't know it's all spiritual.
Yep.
And that's why ultimately these lower level Edomites, you got these compassionate old Negroes, oh, love and God is love, Jesus Christ. And well, you're gonna realize the elites in Amalek who's playing on the minds of the lower level Edomites, they're directing their hatred and their outbursts to attack you, Jake.
Yep.
But you're going to have compassion and mercy on them. Well, Esau is not having compassion and mercy on you because, hey, we all see what the hell media can do to the minds of people, man. You got West Indian woman crying for Charlie Clips.
Yeah.
Don't nobody even knew this nigga until what, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago.
Or gave a fuck.
Yeah. So to counteract that bullshit, anybody asks you that question, ask them where they're from and ask them how many people died in their city and just walk off. Because basically the point of what I'm saying is your compassion is directed because you saw the power of the media and what the media
That's
has
heavy.
done
Hey,
for
bro, you got to say that again. That's heavy. Your compassion is what?
directed on who
Ooh.
to have compassion for.
Damn.
Your mercy is directed. Your love is directed.
That's
And we
heavy.
understand the power of the media because look at what the media has done towards so-called black people for centuries, even going back to the Jim Crow era. That's why they made so-called black people buck dance, coon dance, and talk and belittle themselves as idiots and blackface.
Mm-hmm.
They always painted our people as a criminal, a buffoon, an idiot, a dummy, and something that just don't got sense, and as an animal that needs to be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why your modern day, your average Edomite, really when they come talking to you, they have that ego, they have that pride, they have that sense of I'm over you. When they
Yep.
talk to you, it's not, they truly don't believe that you're equal to them. They talk and they're nice to you because they deep down inside, they truly believe that they're better than you. So number 4, it says media and cultural stereotype. I forgot, the stereotypes. There's been many stereotypes been done on our people. So films
Yep.
like The Birth of a Nation, 1915, portray black men as dangerous criminals, especially rapists or grapists, reinforcing white fears and justifying violence and segregation. These portrayals continue today, feeding into public perceptions of black criminality.
And
And this is
they
why,
show you that
yep,
in the Mandango movie, that old Mandango movie, when the Edomite daughter of the slave owner, she wanted Mandango to fuck her. And Mandango
yep,
was like, no, I'm not gonna fuck you because I'm gonna get in trouble for master. When she said, if you don't fuck me, I'm gonna tell him you raped me.
yep,
And he did it because he didn't want to, get falsely accused. And then master found out and put him to death.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And look at how, and just look at how low Edomite men as a whole have fallen. Look how weak they've become. They don't like the fact that they see Jake kind of somewhat winning, the head up, obtaining certain things and being certain places. That's why overall, what's going to happen to our people is going to hit them blindside, because how the way our people really act, our people really fail to realize not too long ago that was a crime being over there. To even look at an Edomite, that was a crime. To speak to an Edomite, it was a crime. To be in their vicinity, you could be hung. But now Jake had this audacity that they're entitled. That's going to be Jake downfall, because what the scripture says, the devil shall come down having sparing none.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you got it.
No, just the land back. They got being that you spoke of that, because remember they had the white only bathrooms, the white only
white pies.
So right, I know Abaya, you probably seen it, but they just had an old Jake that actually took a picture drinking at a white only fountain. He's on a walkway taking pictures, and they're praising him. Like, that's not using wisdom,
Yeah.
Yep, and that's the times we in. People that shall be lovers of themselves, man.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna continue to number 5. So it says civil rights backlash in law and order politics. So it said during the civil rights movement, 1950s and 60s, leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. were labeled as agitators or criminals, and we all know, he was a puppet. In the wake of protests and urban unrest, and that's another thing too. They show a lot of this, and when you go to those museums throughout America, the Edomites, Esau's pretty much stirred up all this whole civil rights thing, and did to integrate our people and really let so-called Black people believe that we are one, we the people, we're humans, etc. That was more so of a smoke screen and a snare and a trap to lead our people. Because again, I don't know, brothers or men or women or your sisters realize prior to the 60s, you had a lot of militias, not militias, but you had Brown Pride, you had that was Issachar, you had the Latin, not was it Latin Kings? Was it Latin King? Well, no, Young Lords. It was so-called Puerto
You got the
Rican.
Vice Lords. You got the Vice Lords.
No, that came later. I'm talking the Brown Pride with the so-called Mexican. You also had native. You even had the so-called natives, and then you had the so-called Black Panthers.
Oh, I know what
and
you're
it was
talking about. Yeah, when they were unified. Yeah, come.
Yeah, and all of them groups were unifying as one, and it was about to be a problem. So Esau had to pretty much somewhat play a little and bend a little, as if they started caring about Black people and started intermingling them amongst the society. Yeah. So it was all a smoke screen, but you coming into their vicinity, it allowed them to take over your vicinity and then keep you underneath basically a 5th-class citizen. Yeah. Because now they can, it's going to go in. So it says, in the wake of the protests and urban unrest, politicians like Richard Nixon, and again, every president had their 2 cents of this, playing both sides of the aspects. Democrat, Republican. I'm for slavery. We're not for slavery. We're going to abolish slavery. We're going to free the slave. We're going to give them land. They were just playing around. So it says Ronald Reagan framed crime as a problem of Black urban communities. See that? Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon, and all these presidents started demonizing Jake. It's nothing different today. It said law and order became coded language for suppressing Black activism and over-policing Black community. So it says, hey, like you were saying earlier, Abaya, the war on drugs, 1980s and 1990s. Yep. So it says policies under Reagan, Bush, and Clinton oh my God, Clinton was a Black president, according to niggas.
He
It
got some
says
liquor in the White House. He gotta be a nigga.
simple ass niggas, man. I think a couple of years ago a nigga said that shit again. So it says policies under Reagan, Bush, and Clinton disproportionately targeted Black Americans. Crack cocaine used more in Black communities, and they don't never talk about the cocaine that Edomites use. But overall, they never talk about what Esau did. It just the focal point was Jake. So it says, and again, see, this is why what is that scripture that talks about? Go to the old, talk to the elder. You can know about the generations of old. See, Jake don't know their history, and this is why, hey, it's going to happen again. And now Esau can really, literally, Esau is justified in their doings now. Because look at what niggas have become.
Yeah.
So it says, carry far harsher penalties than powder cocaine. Oh man, it said it for me. I'm gonna read that again. Crack cocaine used more in Black communities carried far harsher penalties than powder cocaine used more in white communities. So it said mandatory minimum sentences, 3-strike laws, stop and frisk criminalize everyday behaviors in Black neighborhoods. This led to the rise of mass incarceration. The U.S. prison system population exploded. Black Americans, especially men, were incarcerated at rates far beyond their share of the population. So it says, let me see. Mass surveillance and police violence, 7. Broken window policing and zero tolerance. She says strategy led to over policing of Black neighborhoods for minor infractions.
Hey, I'm glad you said that because I was watching the Hurricane Katrina documentary, and when they sent down those troops to quell to kind of bring some order, like you said, law and order down to what was going on after the storm hit. You can't the upper heads, they weren't keeping track of what every little 20-year-old Edomite with a gun in the military was doing to Jake around there. So like you said, they were over policing Jake over minor infractions. They were shooting Jakes, beating up Jakes for nothing under the guise like you just said of bringing law and order. Right?
And is it not a coincidence all these Edomites are signing up for ICE and into these little militias?
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence, man. So it says 8, systemic inequality as a feedback loop. It said discrimination in housing, education, and and they didn't mention anything about the red codes, the Monroe, I think what was it, the Monroe Act, which took farms from so-called Blacks. So it says education.
Who's to say Esau is not under ICE? Who's to say Esau is not raping these young girls, and when they go to break up these families, he's not doing all type of heinous acts? Nobody's there to monitor this shit.
Nope. It's like Esau can just get away. But we all know, Yahweh Shem Shah lives. He's a power that sees all things. So you're not acquitted, Esau. You can demonize us and all you want to, but just like they tell you to forgive and forget, but then you do a crime in America, you got a public record that anybody can fucking obtain. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a bitch? You do something when you was 17, 18, and now you're a 40-year-old man, but some creep woman on T-App can find that shit and put all your business out there.
Yeah, unless you pay that money to get it expunged, and that what Jake got money for that,
And that's even if they even do it, because a lot of times that shit fall on deaf ears.
That's true. That is true.
It says, and so it says, healthcare contributes to economic hardship, which increases vulnerability to criminalization. Now you got all these, I guess, Myron Gaines and Sneeko and all these fucking degenerate losers that they got everything to say about so-called Black people, but never been in that situation of oppression or ghettos and favelas. Now we're not justifying Jake's actions, but when you've been behind the fence since the 1600s, and then let's not talk about the Reconstruction era, and let's not talk about, oh man, I always bring this out. It's books like this. It's books like this.
Yeah.
And there's another book like this that shows you how Jake had their own towns and had thriving communities. But what did Esau do? Burnt it.
Blood them out.
Jake was getting $1 million back in the day. What did the banks do? Take their money.
Hey, look at Central Park. Central Park was built over a Jake neighborhood that was destroyed unjustly by Esau.
Yep.
And now it's used as a fucking tourist. It's used as a fucking tourist park for people to just walk through and gad up and down. But that was Jake. That was a thriving Jake community.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I got, this Edomite scorns us. It says the word scorn, holding extreme contempt, disdain, or derision for someone or something, often seeing them as mean or unworthy. And that's, Esau. Wait, going back, what is lamentation? This is the day we hit. This is the day we hiss for.
Mm-hmm.
This is the day we wanted. To see the destruction of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Hold on, real quick. Bear with me.
Cool.
I'm gonna get Psalm 64.
Well, bro's been holding them scriptures for you, so.
Okay, you can bring them out.
I got that. Psalm 64, you wanted me to read?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm starting at the top. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, hear my voice, O power, in my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. It says, verse 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
And who's the perfect? Israelites. Go ahead.
They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?
Yep.
They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. But both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Yeah, that diligent search goes into them knowing that we're the Hebrew Israelites. I just found an article where they found an old papyrus, all right, that the old type of material that was used to write on, and this is not from Hebrew culture. This is from Egyptian culture. This is their papyrus. This is their artifact, ancient Egyptian archaeology that backs up the plagues. But Moses, you had a guy during that time. He was writing this. He was an Egyptian writing all this stuff down. He talks about how the water was turning to blood and all this stuff and all these plagues was happening. So they done a diligent search and they found certain Lashawan Quadash seals. They found Hezekiah's seal over there. They found a lot. They know that we're the Hebrew Israelites. So the secret council, ultimately, the secret council is to do away with the name Jacob, take away the name Jacob out of the face of the earth, like the show Watchmen, Lokamar, that we checked out. The whole plan was to take away, what's his name, Dr. Manhattan. It was to take away Dr. Manhattan, and then they show you a clip in that show. The guy that was wearing the all CNI suit, the old Edomite that was wearing the all CNI suit, when they had Dr. Manhattan captured, he said, Jacob is no more. He was at his big mansion house, and he said, Jacob is no more.
I remember that, yo.
And then the beginning of that series, they playing the Israelite song, Israelite.
Yeah.
That whole show, I always stress bros got to watch that show because that shows you the secret counsel of Esau, because
Yeah,
Dr. Manhattan was played by Jake, a Judite. And
yeah,
all those elites came that evening to take away Dr. Manhattan's powers.
yeah. That's
So,
that crafty counsel that we bring out all the time in Psalms.
yep,
You know, they are all confederate against thee, and they want to keep the name of Yasharala, basically, roughly paraphrasing, out of remembrance. You know.
yep, yep.
Um, verse 7, it says, "But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow; suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
And
All
you got
that."
a lot of Edomite, and you have certain Edomites that's coming out. Hey, because you got what's going on now. Hey, what is it? Deuteronomy 30 and 7 or 32 and 7. You know, those Edomites are getting plagued. They're getting cursed. They're getting hit by the curses. And you got a lot of division amongst Edomites. So you got a certain Edomites that's coming out and bringing forth what they did. But overall, you know, some of them see what's going on, and some of them see that they're falling. So again, but overall, we're not compassionate for these devils, man.
Yeah, we
You know,
can't give Esau too
yeah.
much credit. Oh, salam, brother.
No, you got it, bro.
Yeah, we can't give Esau too much credit because Esau has become very domesticated too. One of my favorite things to do throughout the week is go into their spaces and listen to them complain about the state of America. And a lot of these Edomite men have just become dads that, that Billy is playing soccer, his son Billy's playing soccer, he's taking his daughter to ballerina practice. And, yeah, they may have guns, but a lot of them don't want a civil war. A lot of them are scared. Like when shit pop off, they get scared too because Esau, the Lord is taking away that spirit that was once on Esau. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna get back to a crazy time when Jacob's trouble happens, but don't discount the fact that a lot of these Edomites have become very, very weakened because society is weak. All right, that
And
doesn't just apply to Israelite men. A lot of these Edomite men are I see them during my work week. Making my deliveries. A lot of them are taking care of their children, taking care of their babies. They clearly they keep on making babies and they're lost. So when shit happen, they get scared.
Mm-hmm.
They're seeing their kingdom fall, and that's that wound that you just read about, brother. They're seeing everything. They voted for Trump. Now they seeing Trump ain't releasing the Epstein's files. Now they're questioning the Charlie Clip shooting. They're like, damn, wait a minute. How the fuck did this nigga? How the fuck did this nigga climb to a roof with a fucking a long barrel in his fucking tight ass jeans?
Yeah.
And then he got time to change clothes and all that. They're questioning everything now, and they're looking at their presidents that they voted for, and they're like, hold on, you're deceiving us too. You're not only deceiving the niggers, you're deceiving us.
Mm-hmm.
You got it, brother.
Yeah, verse 8. It says, "So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away."
Hey, Karab, your camera like went vertical, vertical, vertical.
yeah,
Okay, you good.
I got a low battery.
Oh, okay,
I
okay,
got
come,
a. I'm gonna just hold it. I'm gonna just hold it. It's all
come,
good.
come, come,
Yeah,
come,
it
come.
says, "And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doing."
See, it said all men should fear, not just Israelites. So Esau is
Mm.
scared too. When they
Yep.
see these events happen, these school shootings. I was listening to a space earlier this week, and they all like, we can't even take our children to school. We can't. These are Edomites. We can't send our children to school. There's school shootings all the time. What's going on? Like they are losing their mind right now. You know?
Huh.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 10. "The righteous shall be glad in the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory."
So the only people that's going to be content and have some type of comfort or us that abide in the word, because we have the breakdowns of the parables. We understand the precepts. The seals have been broken to us, so we have a comfort because the word, the spirit, is the comforter. And when you understand the word, it provides a comfort. So when people are getting their head blown off, schools shot up, people getting poked up on the subway, whatever manners of craziness that goes on, we're not swayed too far to the left or too far to the right. We're balanced. We're even killed. All right. They said, I seen an article. They said America is one of the out of like over 100 countries. America is ranked like number 136 of the most unsafe places on earth. 136. This is supposed to be the greatest economy, but it's ranked like 136 of safest places on the earth. Nothing but death here, man. Because it's not, people think it's not normal to be seeing people get shot in broad daylight. That shit don't happen in other countries, man. A nigga just getting shot at rallies, schools just getting shot up, people getting stabbed up on trains and subways. You know,
That's
People,
right.
hey, people, the amount of traffic shootouts has been just going up day by day.
God.
You beat somebody for sitting at a light for looking at their phone, they might pull out a gun
Hey,
on you.
Philly's known for that. If you flick your lights or honk a horn at somebody in Philly, they're known to double back and pop at you.
But you know that's trickling on down because it's been what I believe 3-4 shootings out here in Richmond.
Come on.
I'm talking about good neighborhoods.
In the
Chesterfield,
neighborhood.
yeah, Chesterfield, Henrico, the shootouts, man. Good neighborhoods.
It's crazy.
So again, this is, but what? How do you expect peace and love in a country where it was found by rape, rob, and murder? So this is, that's a pet peeve to me. Everybody wants talks about peace and prosperity and love and mercy, but look how America was founded. So I got another one, not going to be too much longer. So I asked ChatGPT, how did America persecute Black Americans throughout the years? And it said through slavery, 1619, 1865. Let me see. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. So it says families were torn apart. Slave owners often sold children and spouses to different plantations. Laws enforced bondage. Enslaved people had no legal rights, no right to marry, own property, testify in court, or resist abuse. So think about all this degradation and what we had to go through. And then you bring some drugs to alleviate the pain or a coping mechanism. What did you expect for Jake to do? And I'm not justifying drug use, but when you really look at how this whole society was geared towards us and basically excommunicate us from basically being a person, a nation of people, eradicate us from being a nation of people, what the trauma that, here it is, little Billy goes to school and he gets evaluated, and just because he didn't get his bowl of cereal, this motherfucker is deemed as a mental case. But
yeah.
think about what Jake had to go through the trauma, all the years of their fathers not being there, not able to provide. The Jake men had to put their heads down doing work because of racism. Man, just think about in a nutshell. But Jake is still told to shut up, work, stop complaining, and shut the hell up. But you got kids now need fucking service dogs for the littlest things. So it says Jim Crow. Let me see, Jim Crow era 1877 to 1965. It said racial. Let me see. All right, so legal segregation. Black Americans were forced into separate and inferior schools, hospitals, neighborhoods, and public facilities. It says economic oppression, sharecropping, and discriminatory labor practices kept Black families in poverty. Racial terror, thousands of Black people, and they're being nice with that number. It said thousands of Black people were lynched, often publicly and without legal consequences for the perpetrators. And see, this is why they
can't forget redlining either, where they were.
Yep, they go. Yep,
it goes
and they
into
got.
that?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna let you have it then.
It says criminalization. Black men were often falsely accused of crimes to justify incarceration or lynching. I just seen it. Yep. All right. So, all right.
Chat GGP
Economic.
going off.
Economic inequality, redlining. Banks and the federal government denied home loans to black families in white neighborhoods, preventing wealth accumulation. But overall, redlining didn't allow Jake. I can look it up more. Man, we'll probably just say that for another lesson. But it says
just a
employment.
quick hit on that. The redlining area, a lot of the redlining areas that were back then are the inner city ghettos that you see today. So it's just like Compton, right? Compton was an Edomite area until Jake started moving in, and then they redlined it, and then Compton till this day became a predominantly Jake area.
That's right.
So I just wanted to bring that point out. You know, just like these sundown towns you see, they didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They're the same sundown towns that were initially created. You know, you got it, brother.
It says employment discrimination. Black Americans still face bias in hiring, promotions, and pay. Social and cultural oppression. Media stereotypes. Black people have often been portrayed negatively or invincibly in the news, film, and TV. Cultural erasure. Hey, what is it? Jeremiah, what is it, 17:4? Thou shalt discontinue from the heritage.
Carl.
And how did that happen? Because prior to this captivity, we knew who we were. But how did we lose ourselves here? Because of the help of Esau. Because he pretty much programmed our minds to pretty much eradicate any thoughts of us being an Israelite. Then he showed a people talking about they are the Jewish people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Then you put a so-called white Jesus and, painted white so-called Edomite supremacy. Whitewash everything.
Mind you, this was around the time of all this stuff that you're reading, brother, 1950s.
Yeah.
The Balfour Declaration was 1947 to 1948.
Come on, man.
Around that area. So while all that was going on, here he is propping up these Amalekites to be the Lord's chosen people.
There you go. And is it not a coincidence? Even in the 1960s, and you had Benjamin with the so-called Jamaican music, they even had accounts on them being Israelites. But here it is the whole time. Esau was able to run with that whole ideology.
Yeah.
So it says cultural erasure, Black history, achievements, and struggles have been downplayed or excluded in schools and public narratives. So basically, it just looks like we just some niggas that just came out of nowhere, and they always show, if anything, they show us dunking a ball, football, rap music, and then all of a sudden they think, oh, it's just because they keep seeing so-called Black people on TV, why haven't we come together? Why? Because the Jewish people run the whole media, and they keep it from our people coming together.
Yeah,
the society is meant and kept for our people not to come together.
Yep.
So one more thing. How the demonization of Black Americans in the United States has deep historical roots and manifests in many interconnected ways through media, policy, education, law enforcement, and culture. This process often portrays Black people as inherently dangerous, inferior, or morally corrupt, which justifies unequal treatment and systemic racism. So one thing I want to bring out, the Egyptian treatment on boys, and this was real quick. How I asked, how did the ancient Egyptian treat Israelite boys? And this is a biblical account, Exodus, the first chapter. So the oppression of the Israelites, a new Pharaoh who did not know Joseph, the Israelite who had risen to power in Egypt, became fearful of the growing number of Israelites. He enslaved them and subjected them to harsh labor. He said, targeting the male infants, Pharaoh ordered a genocidal policy to curb the Israelite population. First, he instructed the Hebrew midwives to kill all male Hebrew babies at birth. It says, then Pharaoh issued a decree that every Hebrew boy born should be thrown into the Nile River. So here it is. These things like this has happened before. Now look at what Esau is doing. Hey, when you're in your own mother's womb, you can die. And so basically, the whole narrate is to destroy the boy before he even come into this world. The mom isn't sure of the boy, the child. You know, the father isn't there for the child. He's eating bad. You know, your father's sperm count wasn't good. So before you even come into this world, you're attacked. But when you get here, it's even worse because the whole system, everything is against you. And ultimately, if it's not for, matter of fact, we can close it out with Ephesians 6. You can get that, Lakama. I'm gonna get this real quick.
I got it right here.
All right. Psalm 83
No,
and 1. It says, keep not thou silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Yep, Salaki. And are consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That's
For
that
they have
discontinue from the heritage.
There you go.
Yep.
They called us animals, fit what, 3/4 of a human. Esau constantly programmed the minds of our people to think about ourselves with basically as nothing. That's why it's, you know, you ask yourself, why do so-called black women do the things that they do? Why do so-called black men do what the thing they do? Well, because they can't look at themselves in the mirror. The scripture talks about examining yourself and looking at yourself, but our people can't, because honestly, our people really don't see nothing in themselves.
Yep.
And if they don't make it to rap, basketball, or they thugging, they're gonna be they're gonna turn into criminals. Yep. Because that's, you know, if Jake don't have a Hellcat or whatever that's on TV that's hot, oh man, he don't look at himself as nothing.
Yep.
Why? Because that's been the programming for Jake.
Yep.
You either fly or you die.
A nigga buy a pair of Jordans before he wipe his ass properly.
Yeah, right. Hey, niggas that have a whole 100 pairs of J's, man. But then when he opened his mouth, he be like, yo, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah. Yep.
You got it, Lakama.
You want me to go straight to the point?
No, you know what it talks about the spiritual armor. Have skipped a while. Yep.
Yeah, this is Ephesians 6.
No, I think what is it, 9?
Yeah, it started at 9.
Yep. Slaki.
No, I'll start at 10, Salakia. It says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord Yahweh and in the power of his might. It says, put on the whole army of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Hey, the wiles is what? Let me look it up.
The trickery.
Yep. And what's one of Esau's trickery? To demonize you. Going back to Ezekiel, the 35th chapter, their perpetual hatred that he showed forth. Matter of fact, let me just get that real quick. That's Ezekiel 35 and 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Now, prior to this, you never in your life heard that Edomite ever get called out. He was able to play victim, run around. Basically, he was able to be master of disguise.
You in Ezekiel chapter 35?
Yep.
Okay, before you get to verse 6, because Mattathiah been lighting up the comment board, I want to read. When you get there, I want to read it in the NLT, verse 6, though. Because he put it on the comment board. Come.
So it says, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. And I say unto it, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I'm against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. The upcoming prophecy. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. It's like we brought forth earlier. All, you had, yes, all nations was enslaved, but they was all let go and was able to have a sovereign government. We haven't.
Yep.
We wasn't giving back our land. Esau winning our goddamn land.
Yep.
So it says, I will lay thy city, Salaki, hold on.
Verse 6.
6.
Let me read it in the
You got it.
NLT real quick. It says, as surely as I live, says the sovereign Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, since you show no distaste for blood, I will give you a bloodbath of your own. Your turn has come.
Put the Isaiah 63.
Your turn. Now it's your turn to bathe in blood, nigga.
Hey, what's that?
Get poked up on the subway, bitch.
Hey, what's that? That cup. You said the cup that we was caused to drink. Hey, Esau got to drink that double.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
So it says 7. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. So yeah, continue on.
Back in Ephesians 6 and 12, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." It says, "Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand."
Yeah, let me say this real quick on that. It says we wrestle against principalities in high places. Now, when something is high, it means it's above you. When something is above you, you don't see it. Like you have to look up to see planes. You have to look up to see stars. But you're not looking up throughout the whole day. You're looking straight. You're looking at what's in your vision. So what we're wrestling against, you're not going to be able to see with the naked eye. You got to be able to see it with the spiritual eye, because you're not going to be able to see these meetings they're having, these secret councils they're having, these phone calls that they're having, these blueprints that they're setting forth. You just got to know through the spirit that they're devising plans against you, and put on that spiritual armor to fight. You got to look them more.
Yeah, verse 16, it says, "Above all, taking the stand," Salakia. I think I skipped Salakia. Yeah, verse 14, it says, "Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel." That's Satan. That's great.
Power on. Bluetooth mode.
Satan, man.
Can y'all
I got
brothers hear
some
me?
real quick. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Brothers hear me?
Yeah, you good, up.
That is Satan.
I guess it's
Damn.
we can hear him. I don't know if he can hear us though.
That is whack.
I got some real quick. Ezekiel 25 and 11. It says, and I will execute judgments upon Moab. Well, I'm sorry, verse 12. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus said the Lord power Yahweh, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman. Yeah, so, it says, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said the Lord power Yahweh. So, hey, it's gonna be a great judgment, man, for Edom. We're gonna get a recompense and vengeance, but hey, not now. When Yahweh comes to redeem us as a nation, that's when we're going to be able, and when we can get our system, the Israelite system, established on the earth through Yahweh Shah, that's when we will get pretty much our vengeance. Yeah, you're going to have your little sporadic moments here in the time being, but overall, when we set up our system in the name of Yahweh Shah, and we rule the earth with Yahushua, that's when we're going to, you know, be able to enact on the punishment of Esau. But
It's a lot of you,
going,
brothers.
well, you good. You can finish out Ephesians, and then we can close it.
Yeah, there we go. I'm back. Yeah. Above all, verse 16, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of
Because
salvation.
that's that persecution. Like the scripture says in the dragon was wroth with the woman.
Yeah.
You know, Esau's going to come down hard, sparing none.
It sought to make
He's going to come
war
down
with
hard
her
on us,
child.
man. Yep.
Yeah.
That woman is Israel.
Yep.
Go ahead. Us. You know,
Yep.
fucking dumb Christians. You know, that's us, so-called Negro, Latino, Hispanic, Native Americans, man.
Yeah.
You got it.
It says, and take the helmet.
Not no damn dragon hovering over no damn woman blowing fire, chasing after her.
Yeah.
God.
And really it's the men of Israel, because
Yep.
when you go into the book of Ezekiel, the men of the Lord are described as the Lord's woman. He talks about how he decked her out and put on high places. You got to remember, the Lord says, unto you men I call. The bride is men. So that woman, yes, women and children fall under that, but it's really talking about the men, because we are the ones, we are the servants, we are the prophets, we are the kings, we are the leaders of the nation. All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Verse 17, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of spirit, which is the word of Yahweh, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. You want me to keep going, brothers?
That's it.
That's the point of it.
Okay.
You want anything else, bro?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, you can close out the bio.
Oh, okay, yeah. We pray. This was an edifying class/lesson on going into demonization and Esau falsely accusing. Of course, you can go deep. This type of topic can go on forever, you know. But we pray it was edifying. We want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, double honor to our teachers, the older apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.